Hey, how's it going, guys? Josh Marsden here. So I'm super excited to host this webinar today. I'm going to go ahead and turn off this background because this background is not very good. This software does not do a really good background. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Okay, guys. Well, as we dive into that, I got a question for you. That was basically pulled directly from IMAX. How many of you guys are big movie fans? Let me know in the comments if you're a big movie fan, because I am, and I can't wait to see Odyssey tomorrow night. So let me know here in the comments if you're a big movie fan. All right, and also let me know too what state you're joining me from. We'll get started here in a few minutes. I usually like to wait about 5 minutes. This way, people can join. We typically get a lot of people joining these webinars a few minutes in. Rush in to end whatever it is that they're doing prior to the webinar, and then they join. So we'll get into the content here in a few minutes here. So it looks like Chris, you're a big movie fan as well. It's awesome. Logan, thanks for chiming in, North Carolina. Great to see you in here. Thanks for being in here. Amazing. Okay, where are you from? Let me know here in the comments what state you are joining me from and whether or not you're a movie fan. And while we're at it, whether you're going to see the Odyssey that comes out tomorrow officially. All right, Jeff, thank you for being here from Central Florida. Amazing. All right. Well, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and it is hot. It is really hot here. Luckily, though, we're in the middle of a week with a lot of monsoons. And so we're getting temperatures brought down a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. It's not as bad. It's when the sun is like has a clear sky when it just beams on us and basically roast us as we go outside. But a few nights ago, I actually went on a 4 mile jog like at 7 p.m. and man, it was rough. It was rough out there. John, Fight Club, love it. Yeah, it's a great movie. Love that movie. It's funny. My girl, she brought up that on TikTok, she saw like a picture of Edward Norton with Brad Pitt, and the caption said, "Why is Edward Norton talking to himself?" And you only get that if you've seen Fight Club, and if you're a big Fight Club fan, and she's never seen Fight Club, so she had no idea why the caption said that. So I had to explain the movie to her. But yeah, that's a great movie. Eric, thanks for being here. New Jersey, you're going to see Odyssey soon as well. Amazing. Awesome. And John from Los Angeles, City of Angels. All right. Okay, guys. Well, we are now 5 minutes in. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Now, before we dive into the content, I go through buying a business and how it works and how you can do it and how anybody can really do it. And literally anybody. I mean, I bought 19 businesses since 2022, and I've helped others buy businesses too over the last 12 months as well. So we've got a lot of experience. We've looked at hundreds, maybe even into the thousands of businesses since 2022. So there's a ton of experience and a ton of feedback that I can give you so I can help you get a lot of value out of today's webinar. So before we dive in today, let me know just one thing that you want to get out of today's webinar that brought you here today. And then also, before we dive in, something I highly recommend, you have to kind of treat this as class. And to get the most out of any class, you have to eliminate distractions, put your phone down, put it away even, focus only on this tab, this window. If you have multiple monitors, don't have anything on those other monitors. That's the way I operate whenever I'm doing something like this because I want to be fully present. But this way you're fully present because this way you get the most out of today's webinar. That's my recommendation for you. Obviously, it's on you, but if you want to get the most out of today's webinar, eliminate distractions, push them away, and just focus on this and ask lots of questions throughout. This way you get lots of value, lots of impact out of today's webinar. All right. Okay, guys. Well, let me know when you can see my screen. I'm about to share it. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you could see my screen. Once I get three, I'll get started. Looking just for three thumbs up. Clara, thank you for sharing. Other ways to generate income. This could actually replace your income and make you even more income. So you're in the right place. Okay, Nick, thank you for the thumbs up. Guys, give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen, and then we'll dive in. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Logan. Okay, awesome. All right, we got what we need. Okay, guys. Okay, so today's webinar is how to buy a cash flowing online business in the next few months. This can really happen for you over the next few months after this webinar. Okay. And this is without starting from scratch or risking your life savings. So, welcome to today's webinar. And before we begin, as I mentioned before, eliminate distractions, turn off your phone notifications, close those extra browser tabs, and give this your full attention for the next 60 to 75 minutes. It's typically how long we go, not 90 minutes. And this is what you'll be shown today. You'll be shown how to buy a cash flowing online business, even with no experience, limited capital, and no deal pipeline. This will allow you to go from zero deals to owning a cash flowing online business in 4 months or less. And you don't need experience. You don't also need to worry about having a whole lot of money or any money, really. There's ways to get businesses with no money. Creative financing is available, and there's a proven evaluation framework, and you're going to learn quite a bit about that during today's webinar. And this is like actual screenshots from our portfolio. You can see that over the last few years, we've generated millions of dollars from our portfolio, over 30 million to be exact, since 2022. Okay, so this is based on real experience. This is based on real revenue. This is based on real businesses that we've purchased over the last several years, and we operate now as well. So the proof is real. As I showed you with those screenshots, the revenue, those came from deals that we did. Those are our actual results that we're generating and we have been generating over the last few years. So I want you to imagine what could happen to your portfolio if you had the same exact system I use, but simplified and structured so anyone can follow it. So stay until the end because I've got something very special that's going to make this even easier for you. All right, let's dive in, guys. So who am I? As I mentioned before, since 2022, I've acquired 19 online businesses. These are e-commerce businesses, Shopify, Amazon, direct-to-consumer brands. I've had over 30 million in sales. During that time, this is not revenue for clients. This is not managed spend. These are actual sales from my company's portfolio. We've also raised over 8 million in capital over the last several years as well to be able to buy businesses, buy several bigger businesses, and to really scale up our online business assets. And over the last few years, we've also been nominated twice for the Inc. 5000 as one of the America's fastest growing companies here in America. But here's what matters most. It's not just about my results, it's about whether this system works for other people too. See, multiple students have closed deals. Regular people who follow the ARM5 process have been able to buy their first online business. And you'll hear from a few of those people during today's webinar. So it's not about me being special, it's about the system. It's about the system being special. That's what we've been able to build our business on the back of. And now others are going through this system just like you. And today I'm going to hand this system to you. So this is a quote I like to use to kick things off. It proves that this isn't about me being special. It's about the system being special. So here are some real student results. This way you don't just take my word for it. Let me show you some real stories from people just like you. Now, as I dive into this, I want to make sure you could hear this. So give me a sec here. I'm going to go ahead and switch tabs and then let me know that you can hear this from my computers. So this is a little tricky sometimes, but I want to make sure you can really capture this. we go. Oh, wrong video.
Come on, guys. So I want to share with you another case study that we just had in the acquisition method. Let me tell you about Jason before I show you a video from him. So Jason, he joined the acquisition method, the done for you tier, because he wanted to get out of his career in auto sales. He had been in auto sales for decades. He had voiced that it caused strains on his relationship with his ex, which led to a divorce, unfortunately. And it also led to strains in his relationships with his daughters. And he wanted to be closer to his daughters. He wanted to basically buy back his time. And he knew that if he stayed in his auto sales career, that he would be stuck. He would be at the whims of an employer, and he would have to continue to work 6, maybe even 7 days a week. He was making great money, but money's not everything. Time is everything. And connecting with the people that you love and valuing those relationships, that's key, because that's what you remember at the end of your life, in my opinion. So here, watch this video from Jason, because I would love to see you go through a similar transformation to break out of the rat race and to see success from buying an online business with our help. So watch this video from Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Decker, and I am the owner of This Silly Girl's Kitchen, where I got the help from Team ARM5, and I am incredibly grateful I did. I was your typical rat race guy working in automotive for 26 years, a couple days off a month, not spending time with family. Every story you can dream up was pretty much the life I was living. And I just decided there had to be another way. So with the team at ARM5's help, I was able to buy my first business. And it literally took 4 months for when I started till me finalizing the documents on my asset purchase order. And I'll tell you this, I got a Harvard education on what it takes to buy a business. I got a Harvard education on the legalese, and it's a lot of work. So if you don't plan to do work and you think that's just a layup, well, that's not it. But the good part is you have the freedom over your time and your success. And that's what this system helped provide me with. I did the work, and am doing the work, and will continue to do the work because I want the company to have massive success. But at the end of the day, I really have to thank the guys from ARM5 because they helped me out tremendously. They held my hand along the way, which is exactly what I needed. And I'm grateful I made the decision I did to join ARM5. So thanks, Josh. And especially thanks to Jeff, because he was absolutely outstanding, holding my hand through this, teaching me as much as he did. He was not only has become a friend, he's become a mentor, and I am incredibly blessed to have both Josh and Jeff in my life. Thanks.
All right, so let's get back to it, guys. What'd you guys think about that testimonial? Let me know here in the comments, all right? Okay, let's get back to the presentation. Okay. Good. Okay, you guys are good. All right, sweet. Okay, so here's the typical ROI breakdown. This is literally a conservative example for a first-time acquirer using the ARM5 formula acquisition method. So let's just say that you're looking at a business that's a 150,000, so very small business, but this business is also doing 50,000 a month in revenue and about 15,000 per month in profit. So it's a good cash flowing business, small business, but good cash flowing business. And so a business like that, you're typically going to put somewhere in between 0 to 30,000 down to be able to buy it, typically. Okay. But this could be fully financed through one of our lending partners. Or if you have cash you need to deploy because you don't want to sit on cash, you want to get cash to work for you, then you could put that down as well. That's one other option as well. And then the rest can be on seller financing or a performance-based earnout, which is definitely better, okay? And then after you've acquired it, now you have a business that is giving you 10,000 to 15,000 per month in profit. That's immediate cash flow from day one of ownership. And that allows you to recoup your investment working with us too in the acquisition method, for example. And so now you have an annual income stream that's doing 180,000 per year. That's more than most jobs. And then also after we help you scale it and we maybe double the profit, now it's doing 30,000 a month in profit. And then we also help you optimize it for a future sale. And you always want to start with the end in mind. And we can help you optimize different aspects of the business to be able to maximize the valuation of the company, because we know what we're looking for when it comes to buying businesses. So we know what unlocks more value in businesses and what doesn't as well. So we can get good deals for ourselves. We can help you get a good multiple on that company. And so if you've got a company doing, 30,000 per month in profit, and we get it to a 3.5x multiple, now you have an asset. You have a company that's worth 1.26 million that we can help you then sell. Okay. That is literally the typical ROI breakdown for anybody new to this, anybody new to the acquisition method, anybody new to buying a business or new to even online business as well. Okay. And right now there's a tremendous opportunity here. There's over 1 million boomer owned businesses expected to sell by 2035. 48% of boomer owned businesses plan to exit within the next 3 years. That's as of last year. Okay. And there's 10 trillion in private businesses right now coming to market. And it's called the silver tsunami. Feel free to look it up. And so as I showed you, I showed you a snapshot of my portfolio earlier. These e-commerce brands on Shopify, Amazon, direct to consumer, these are all acquired using the exact same 5-step system I'm about to share with you today. And each business was acquired with creative financing. Most required little to no money out of pocket, and all are managed with lean teams and proven systems. Okay. So these aren't outliers. These are normal people who followed the system and got results. Every single one started exactly where you are right now. So who is this for? Okay. So this path here is right in front of you. This is for these people. Okay. Professionals and career changers. You want to own a cash flowing online business without years of trial and error. You're ready for a new path. I saw a few comments here in the chat, so I think this is probably you. Okay. Or this could be for investors seeking better returns. You're tired of 7% stock market returns and want the 30 to 50% annual returns possible in online businesses. Many people that are building wealth, that are very wealthy, they put 20% or more of their investment portfolio into private equity. That's businesses. And you should do the same. I mean, they're billionaires and millionaires for a reason, right? This is also for entrepreneurs who want to skip the startup phase, the painful startup phase. You don't want to spend 2 to 3 years building something from scratch. You want to step into success. You want to step into something that's working already on day zero before you even step into the business. That's what you want. You want to skip the startup phase. That could be you as well. Also, this is for coachable action takers. You have capital to deploy, or you're willing to explore creative financing and you're ready to follow a proven process. Okay, now this is not for everyone though. Okay, this isn't for get rich quick seekers. So if you're looking for overnight money with zero effort, this isn't it. Buying a business is real work. You're not willing to do the due diligence. If you're not willing to invest time in learning and evaluating deals, this won't help you. You want passive income with zero involvement. Look, passive income, it's a myth. It's very much a myth. Every type of passive income requires at least a little bit of work, okay? So if you just want to flip businesses with zero involvement or aren't willing to follow a systematic process, this isn't for you, okay? So this is your commitment here. I need 3 things from you before we go any further. Number 1, keep an open mind. Some of this might seem too good to be true, especially if this is your first time in front of me today. But I promise you all of this is true because we've been doing it over the last few years. We're on the Inc. 5000. You go to Inc.'s website. You can look up ARM5 formula. You'll find that everything we're going over is fact, not fiction, not pie in the sky. It's real and something that you can take advantage of, okay? Creative financing, buying with little to no money down. A lot of people can accomplish this, but they don't realize it. We're all raised to believe that you need money to make money. You need money to buy a business. I thought that too. But you know what? That is not the case. So trust the process until you see the math, all right? Number 2, ready to take action. Not tomorrow, not next week, today, okay? Your dreams are not going to be accomplished unless you take action towards them. They don't just happen while you're sleeping. They don't just happen while you're doing nothing. You have to do something in order to manifest what you want to accomplish for yourself. Okay. So the difference between success and failure is speed of implementation. Number 3, be open to getting help. If what I show you makes sense, be open to investing in yourself. I'll show you how you can work with me directly. And I'll tell you this, after 13 plus years in business, the number one investment that you can make is in yourself. Okay. So if you agree with these 3 things, let me know in the comments. Put yes in the comments. Okay. And this goes for everybody that's here live. You better put yes in the comments. All right, let's get real. You might be thinking, Josh, you've bought 19 businesses and you've done 30 million in sales since 2022. You must be some kind of genius. Well, I'm not, definitely not. Okay. This is where I started. I didn't come from money. I didn't have connections in the business world. I started with nothing but a willingness to learn and, most importantly, to take action. And my first business purchase, it wasn't glamorous. I made mistakes. I overpaid. I didn't know what due diligence really meant back in early 2022, but I learned, and that experience became the foundation that for everything that came after. But once I found the right process, everything changed. I developed a systematic approach to evaluating, financing, and transitioning into online businesses. And that first painful experience, it literally turned into a repeatable system. Okay. And then I did it again and again and again. And as I have already shown you today, 19 businesses purchased since 2022, over 30 million in online sales since that time. And we've made the 5,000 now twice. So I didn't have any advantages you don't have. In fact, you have a massive advantage I didn't have when I started. You have someone who's already made the mistakes and built the system for you. So here's a quote I like to use. Success in business acquisition is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about having the right system and taking action fast. Okay, so here's the big picture here. Let's start with the full map. I want you to see the big picture before we zoom into each piece. Here's what ARM5 actually stands for. So ARM is the marketing engine that makes these businesses valuable. The 5 profit amplifiers, that's what the 5 stands for, are levers basically that you can pull after you purchase the business to be able to multiply growth. Our background from 2013 until 2021 was being a marketing agency, impacting literally thousands of e-com businesses through online events, coaching, and client services. So that's where ARM5 came from. It came from real in the trenches work on online businesses. Okay. So A stands for authority. You're buying a business that already has trust and credibility. R stands for reciprocity. The audience wants to buy already because you've provided value up front through content, through downloadable lead magnets, and other pieces of value that you're providing up front. M stands for monetization. The revenue engine is already running. And then 5 stands for the profit amplifiers, as I mentioned before, which is retention, conversion, pricing, efficiency, and also traffic. Now, the ARM5 acquisition method, which is the system we're really focusing on today, is evaluate, number 1, find deals worth buying using proven criteria. Number 2, finance, structure creative deals with little to no money down. Number 3, transition, take ownership without disrupting the business. And number 4, optimize, apply the 5 profit amplifiers to grow value. And number 5, scale, build a portfolio of cash flowing assets. Now, this is a bit of a counterintuitive approach. Most people think you need years of experience, millions in capital, and a huge network. And the truth, you need a proven system, the right guidance, and the willingness to take action. So here's what makes this different. See, most programs, they teach theory. I give you a system that we use, that we've been using for over 4 years now. Other approaches hand you a book about mergers and acquisitions. Say, figure it out yourself. It's theory-based, generic advice. You're also on your own, typically. Whereas the ARM5 system, we put you right next to us in the passenger seat. We turn on the GPS. So this way we all know where we're going. We say, hey, follow my lead, and we'll have you closing deals in months. And I'm not teaching from theory. I've personally bought 19 online businesses since 2022 and have done over 30 million in online sales. So you're learning from someone who does this every single day. So you'll see real deals and real numbers. I'm not just going to tell you what to do. I'm going to show you real deal structures, real profit and loss statements, and real evaluation frameworks from my actual portfolio. And creative financing changes everything. The parts that used to require hundreds of thousands in cash are now possible with seller financing, earnouts, and creative deal structures. And this is also designed for first-time buyers, not people who already own a portfolio, not people with mergers and acquisition experience, but people buying their very first online business, like Jason, who you heard from earlier in today's presentation. So why now? We're in the middle of the greatest wealth transfer in history. If you don't know that, this is big, and this is a big opportunity for you. Baby boomers own millions of businesses, and as they retire, they need to sell. This is creating the largest wave of business transfers that we've ever seen. There's literally 6.8 trillion right now in the global e-commerce market. That's a massive and growing market with thousands of businesses changing hands every single year. And there's over 70,000 online businesses listed for sale. There's tons of businesses, tons of options out there. And this is at any given time right now too. And that's just the public market. Okay. Private market deals multiply this number. So before the traditional path, you had to start from scratch, took 2 to 3 years at least to have success. But many people failed. There's a 90% failure rate for startups. You had to spend $50,000 to $200,000, maybe even more building the business. There's no revenue for months, so you're literally eating ramen and maybe even sleeping in the office because you can't afford rent, because you're pouring everything into your startup. That was the traditional path. But see, now with the ARM5 method, you can buy an existing business, takes 4 months or less. You have proven revenue from day one. You could also use creative financing to buy a business with little to no money down, and you have cash flow immediately, not years later, like a startup, or months later, if you're lucky. You get cash flow literally on day one when you buy an existing, already successful, already profitable online business. But this window, it's open right now. The opportunity exists. I mean, seller financing is common. The market is still fragmented, but institutional money is starting to wake up to online business assets. And I know that because I pay attention to that. Like, I was on a webinar yesterday at 9 a.m. with this group out of New York City and London, going over the market right now and online business valuations and who's buying these businesses and what multiples they're paying for. So people are starting to wake up to buying online businesses, but this is still a massive opportunity for you. But you can't do it alone. Without the right process, the right evaluation framework, the right deal structures, the right transition path, you'll end up buying a lemon or losing your deposit. Basically, you're going to take on a ton of risk if you try to do it alone. Instead, it's better that you have a proven process and you also have expert support with 19 acquisitions of experience compressed into a system that anyone can follow. That's what makes right now the best time in history to buy your first online business. So today I'm sharing my 3 biggest secrets to buying cash flowing online businesses. I'm going to walk you through each one step by step. Now let's start with the first. Now, before I dive into that, I want to let you know about this quote. I didn't invent business buying. I just systematize it so anyone, regardless of experience or capital, can do it safely and profitably. Okay, so number 1 is the evaluation methodology. This is secret number 1. You don't need to find the deal. There's plenty out there. You need to know which deals are worth buying. See, most people are stuck in which deal mode. They spend weeks scrolling marketplaces, looking at hundreds of listings, and falling in love with ideas instead of numbers. And they either buy the wrong business or they never buy at all. They're looking for that needle in a haystack, or they're not willing to take assessed risk, because you do have to take some risk when you buy a business. and they end up just sitting on the sidelines and just dreaming and not actually realizing their dreams. So what people typically think, I need to find the perfect deal. I need to look at hundreds of listings. I need months of research. I need years of M&A experience. But the truth is that you need a proven evaluation framework and the right system filters in minutes, and due diligence follows a checklist, follows the process. And then the math it tells you everything, okay? Numbers don't lie. And so the ARM5 evaluation framework is step one, check the seller discretionary earnings, known as SDE. It's similar to net profits, very close to that. It's basically net profit from the business with any expenses that the owner would push back into the business in selling the business. Typically, it's their income, and maybe they're paying for a car, stuff like that. And so that is added in. That's why it's called seller discretionary earnings. Okay. But you also want to question that. Is the profit real? You really want to deep dive into that. Step two, assess stability. Is the revenue consistent or is it volatile? If you look at the previous 12 months and you see a sharp decline, that's not good, obviously. If you see it steady, okay, there's something there. You could work with that as long as there's opportunities to grow it and fix it and get it growing. Ideally, it's growing. And then that's obviously a very beneficial characteristic and a characteristic you want to look for. But hey, if it's making money, if it's stable, if it's been around for several years, you still have a massive opportunity there. You just want to make sure that it's not volatile. It's not up and down. It's not declining. Okay. Step three, evaluate sustainability. Will this business exist in 2 years? Okay. We're in 2026. You're not going to buy a business, for example, that's selling ultraviolet filters, ultraviolet, devices that clean the air around you. We don't have to worry about COVID like we did back in 2020. That product, that series was hot back then, but it's not hot now. That's not going to survive. That's not going to survive today even, right? That's what I mean by evaluating sustainability. And then step four, test scalability. Can you grow it with the 5 profit amplifiers? Is there ample opportunity in that market? That's what you want to evaluate as you're evaluating a business. Okay, so as I mentioned, SDE, seller discretionary earnings, is the number that matters most because this is the true profit after all owner benefits. And if the owner works 80 hours a week and funds ads on personal credit cards, that's not a business, it's a job. You're just buying a job, okay? You're ideally looking for a business that has a team and the owner runs the team, okay? So here's another student of ours, Dirk Luttrell. He said, I joined the ARM5 formula program with zero money and learned how to evaluate e-commerce businesses. I've now acquired my first business doing over 1.2 million per year, also doing 350,000 a year in net profit as well. Okay. And he was a first-time acquirer. So see how simple that is. No fancy degree required. Just follow the framework, check the numbers, and the math tells you whether to move forward or whether to walk away. Now, 3 out of 4 deals I pass on using this exact framework. Knowing what to say no to is just as important as knowing what to buy. And this framework does both. Now, without a system, emotional decisions based on gut feel usually influence you. Overpaying because you don't know the real value. If you don't have a system, you're going to take that business for face value and you're not going to know how to truly give it the right value. And then you're going to get ripped on a deal. Missing hidden liabilities until it's too late. Look, you don't know until you know. Or you lean on a system that tells you what you should know, right? So you could either go in blindly and figure it out and make a lot of mistakes along the way. I've done that. You don't want to do that. Or you can lean on a system that tells you what to look for, so this way you can mitigate and minimize your risk. Also, you could have months of wasted time on dead-end deals without a system. Now, with the ARM5 framework, it's data-driven scoring, all done in 30 minutes. You know the exact fair market value before you make an offer. You also can spot red flags automatically in due diligence, and you only spend time on deals that pass the filter, okay? Okay, number 2, creative financing. So this is secret number 2 today, and this is gonna really demystify a lot of myths out there because this is probably the most common myth. Most people think that you need a lot of money to buy a business. I thought that too up until I think 2019, 2020. And then I started to learn, and I started to, work with different people, different mentors. And then I was able to learn from experience, and the rest is history. But here's the truth. The truth is that you can buy an online business with little to no money down. Okay. No money out of your own pocket. There's ways to cover the down payment. Now, most people think you need hundreds of thousands in cash. They assume business buying is only for the wealthy and for people with millions in the bank, for Wall Street types. Now, I'm here to tell you that if this is you, this is a self-limiting mindset, and you need to coach yourself out of it. Okay. Because that's the biggest myth in this industry. People think that I need 500,000 or more in cash, or I need perfect credit, impeccable credit, or I need to get an SBA loan. I need to get a business loan. And banks are my only option, or I just can't afford to buy a business. That's what people think. But the truth is that creative financing literally changes everything if you know how to use it. Also, seller financing aligns incentives. Many deals need little to no money down if you know how to do the due diligence, if you know how to do the risk assessment, if you know how to price the offer correctly, if you know how to structure the offer right, if you know how to sell the offer and sell yourself as the buyer. Okay. And then the business eventually will pay for itself, not requiring massive loans, not requiring 500,000 plus in cash, not requiring any of that. Okay. And this is why I choose like seller financing and other creative financing deal structures over SBA loans. A lot of people talk about SBA loans, but you know what? I don't recommend SBA loans for many reasons. Okay. We're going to touch on some of those right now. So for one, speed. You close in weeks when you use seller financing and other creative financing structures, not months of bank bureaucracy. Okay. It takes months to close an SBA loan. And for you to keep a seller engaged that long, you're probably going to lose the deal, more than likely. Okay. Also, flexibility. Custom terms that work for both parties are possible when you use creative financing. If you try to use an SBA loan, you're basically saying, hey, I'll pay you 80% or more of the value of your business. And that means that you're taking all the liability, you're taking all of the risk instead of there being a shared risk deal in place. Creative financing is basically creating a shared risk deal. And that's what you want. Okay. Alignment. See, with creative financing deals, the seller stays invested in your success and they get paid as you succeed. That's ideal, as I just mentioned. And then accessibility. No massive down payments when you're using creative financing deal structures. And there's also no personal collateral requirements. With an SBA loan, you have to put down a personal guarantee. Okay. So if the business fails, they're going to come after you. And that sucks. You don't want that. I never, ever recommend to anybody in my community, anybody I serve, that they use a personal guarantee to buy a business. And you need that with an SBA loan. Okay. So those are some of the reasons why I do not recommend SBA loans, and I recommend creative financing structures only when buying businesses, and whether that's online or offline. Okay. Now, how seller financing works. The seller acts as a bank. You make installment payments over time instead of paying up front. The seller stays aligned with your success. It's a win-win. Most beginners never negotiate. They want it, but they don't know how to negotiate it. I can help you do that. Okay. Here's a quote from one of our clients who you heard from earlier in today's presentation. He said this: I spent 26 years working in automotive, stuck in the rat race and barely seeing my family. With the help of the ARM5 team, I was able to buy my first business in about 4 months. Okay. So going back to secret number 2, see how accessible that is? No $1 million bank account required, no lengthy SBA loan process, just a smart deal structure that works for everyone involved. Again, shared risk deal. Okay. That's what you want. And I've done this many, many, many times. And so have our clients. And I literally paid no money out of pocket on my first seller financed acquisition. It was 100% seller financed. I still remember it today. I paid it back entirely from the business's own profits over the first 24 months that we had that company. So traditional buying, you need 100,000 to 500,000, maybe even more in savings or an SBA loan. You need 6 to 12 months of bank paperwork. You need to put down a personal guarantee and possibly even collateral, maybe even your house. And banks say no to 80% of online businesses because banks want to lean against businesses that have leases, businesses that have real estate. That's really the type of businesses that they typically finance. Okay. Now, creative financing, you can start with little to no money out of your own pocket. You can close in 30 to 60 days with seller financing and other creative deal structures. The business profits pay the acquisition cost. And it works for any online business model as well. Okay, so moving on to number 3 here, the ownership transition. So this is secret number 3. Closing the deal is just the beginning. How to transition into ownership without disrupting the business. This is key. See, most people think the work is done once you sign the papers, and they celebrate closing day and then wake up the next morning wondering, what do I do now? And those first 90 days are the most dangerous days. The first 90 days after a business purchase are when most value is lost, and bad transitions can destroy good businesses. Now, without a transition plan, key staff can leave in confusion, customers can experience disruption, you're scrambling to figure out operations, revenue drops as chaos increases. But with the ARM5 transition system, existing team stays in place with clear roles. Customers notice that nothing changes, and that's the key. That's what you want. That's the goal. There's SOPs, standard operating procedures, and reporting from day one. This way there's standards, there's expectations, everybody has a role, everybody has numbers they're responsible for, and revenue continues, and it grows, and it grows, and it grows. So the 3 pillars of a successful transition really come down to this. It comes down to staffing, keeping the existing team, not making any sudden changes, documenting those roles, establishing clear communication with everybody, reporting. You want to set up weekly dashboards and KPIs. Those are key performance indicators. Those are numbers that each team member is responsible for. And you want to do that from day one. And you also want to know your numbers as an owner. You want to make sure everybody knows their numbers that they're responsible for as well. And then finally, rhythm. You want to establish the operating rhythm of the business right away as the owner. This means weekly reviews, monthly goals, quarterly planning. Again, this isn't fully passive. It is going to take some time, some dedication, some commitment on your part. But, the idea is buy a team that is running the business. This way you don't have to run the business. Instead, you can be the leader of that business. And this is how I transition into a new business. So week 1 is typically team meetings where we meet every employee, we understand roles, we build trust. Week 2 is the SOP documentation phase, where we document every process, workflow, and system. Or there's already SOPs, but we just see some gaps and we just fill those gaps. Week 3, reporting setup. This is where we install dashboards. We have our own dashboard we use that we train every company that we buy on, and also our clients do the same. This allows you to establish what the key performance indicators are that are going to drive that business day in, day out. Also, we establish financial tracking right away. This way you're always seeing cash in, cash out, and the team knows the health of the business because they know that they're driving the business and they need to take some ownership of that. Week 4, optimization begins, and that's where the 5 profit amplifiers come into play. We do a full audit. We see what short-term opportunities there are in the business that can grow the business in a very short period of time. We apply those, and then we also work on long-term fixes as well on projects that will make a big impact to the long-term growth of the business as well. Now, this is how you own a portfolio, not a group of jobs. Systems over talent, okay? Reporting over guessing, rhythm over chaos. When you transition correctly, you own an asset, not another job. So 90 days from closing to fully systematized ownership is what this is all about. On one of my acquisitions, for example, I retained the entire team, documented every process, and grew revenue 25%, all within the first quarter of owning that business. So you don't have to quit your day job. Most of my acquisitions were managed alongside other projects. The transition systems is designed for busy professionals, so you don't have to quit your job if you're working, if you're trying to create a side hustle, if you're trying to build your investment portfolio. This is something that you can add to your life, even though you're busy already. So weeks 1 through 2, you shadow the seller and you document all systems. Weeks 3 through 4, you begin managing with seller still on standby. Weeks 5 through 8, full ownership with automated reporting. And then week 9 and after, you're the owner working on the business. That's the key, on, not in the business. Okay. All right. Are you guys tracking along? Give me like a thumbs up in the comments. Let me know that you're tracking along. I'm going to get a quick sip of water. Okay. Thank you for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay. All right. Okay. So each secret that I just revealed, just went over, it's powerful on its own, but together they create a seamless system for finding, financing, and transitioning into a cash flowing online business in 4 months or even less. So let's recap. Okay, the 3 secrets that we went over today. This is a part of the 5-step process here: evaluate, finance, transition, optimize, and scale. And secret number 1 was the evaluation methodology, knowing which deals are worth buying. Secret number 2 is creative financing, buy with little to no money down. Secret number 3, the ownership transition, protect your investment from day one. And again, this is all from real experience over the last several years. Since 2022, we've had 19 businesses purchased. We've helped others purchase businesses as well. On top of that, we've had over 30 million in online sales of our own businesses. And we've also made the Inc. 5000 twice over the last 2 years. So my question to you so far is, have you seen some value from today's webinar? I'm going to check the comments real quick. Give me a thumbs up if you've seen some value, or raise the roof if you want. I see a few of those. So thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Amazing. Awesome. All right. Cool. Cool, cool. Okay. So do I have permission to share with you something that can really change your life? As long as you take action. That's the key. You got to take action. So give me a thumbs up. Raise your hand if you give me permission to share. All right, I'm going to check the comments. So thank you, Clara. Appreciate it. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff. Awesome. Thank you, Nick. All right. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. So right now you might be at a crossroads, but what if I had a proven system that walked you through every single step from finding the right deal to closing it and transitioning into ownership? So you have 3 options right now. You can, number 1, do nothing. You can leave this webinar, forget everything, and keep doing what you've been doing. Keep watching YouTube, keep researching, keep telling yourself you'll buy a business someday. Okay, I don't think that that's going to be you, because you're here and you're putting time into this. You're putting time into yourself by being here. So I don't think this is any of you. Okay. Number 2, you could do it yourself. You could take what you learned and try to figure it out on your own. It's honorable, but expect 12 to 18 months and possibly 6 figures or more in mistakes. Most people who try alone never close a deal. Now, I know from my own experience, because I literally bought my first business by reading a book. It wasn't a really thick book. It was a book maybe this thick. And I was able to buy a business from that, but I made a lot of mistakes. And I wish I had something like this, but I didn't at the time. So you're coming into this and you're leaning on our lessons and our experience. So number 3, you could join ARM 5. You could work with me, work with my team. And you could follow my step-by-step system. You could use my tools and frameworks. And you could buy your first online business within 4 months or less with expert guidance every step of the way. And this is, as you can imagine, the most popular option. So here's how it works. I've put together a complete system that walks you through every step of finding, evaluating, financing, and more importantly, closing your first online business acquisition. Now, let me break it down for you. So this is the ARM5 formula acquisition method. This is the complete system to take you from 0 deals to owning a cash flowing online business in 4 months or less. And this isn't just another course. This is a high level mentorship and implementation program that covers everything from finding your first deal to closing it and scaling it with expert guidance every step of the way. And here's what's included. You get access to our deal analyzer and valuation models, where you can instantly evaluate businesses with proprietary templates that we use. You can input metrics and see revenue trends, profit margins, and also suggested offer ranges as well. This way you stop overpaying for businesses. Okay. The value of this alone is about $500. And then you also get access to our due diligence vault. These are 100+ point checklist that allow you to really review a business deeply. And it also includes financial ratio calculators and traffic analyzers. This way you have comprehensive evaluation of any target business you're thinking about making an offer on. And this is the system that's literally protected me from bad deals now for years after I went through some deals that I shouldn't have agreed to in my early days. This is worth at least $10,000. You also get access to legal contracts and deal templates. These are attorney design purchase agreements, LOIs, letter of intents, and negotiation scripts designed to eliminate the legal guesswork. And this way you also don't spend $5,000 on a lawyer to draft these from scratch. You can just use these templates, maybe get a final approval from a lawyer, and that's it. It'll save you a ton of money. It's about a $5,000 value. And then also on top of that, you get our growth and optimization swipe files. These are ready to use marketing assets and also SOPs to boost performance immediately after acquisition. And this is the exact strategies I've used to scale businesses. This is literally worth millions in potential revenue because it's from 13+ years of experience growing and managing businesses. Okay. You also get access to weekly coaching calls. Okay. These are live question and answer sessions with myself and also other people on my team that are in the acquisitions department. So this way you're working with seasoned acquisition experts every single week on your deals. You'll get real-time guidance on your deals. We'll help you with due diligence, hands-on, and we'll also help you even take ownership of the business and also scale your business as well. This way you're never making a decision alone. You're leaning on our experience and our wisdom and our knowledge. And this is literally over a $12,000 value. And then on top of that too, you get access to an exclusive mastermind community. You'll be able to join a private community of other high performers, other driven people that are driving towards their goals, their dreams of owning a successful online business and creating cash flow and wealth from their business. So you'll be in a community of people just like you. And this could be an incredible opportunity for you to share deal opportunities. You could create partnerships, possibly even with fellow driven, determined wealth builders just like you. Communities like this are literally priceless because they raise your standard. They raise your standard and cause you to think differently. Also, you get lifetime access to all of this. Okay, you remain part of the ARM5 family after you buy your first business. You could stay in. You could buy multiple businesses if you want. That's fine. You can keep coming to the coaching calls and just keep leaning on us to build your portfolio, to build your nest egg if you wanted to. Okay, so you get that over your lifetime. And then finally, you also get a personalized strategy session. So after booking, you'll get a one-on-one strategy session to map out your specific path to your first acquisition. This is customized to your capital, to your experience, and also to your goals. And again, this is all from experience. I've already gone over these stats before, but I'll go over them one more time. Since 2022, we've purchased over 19 businesses. We've had over 30 million in online sales from our businesses. We've made the Inc. 5000 twice. We've evaluated hundreds of deals. Okay. So let's talk value. Let's break it down. So most people trying to do this on your own, this is what they spend. To go get an MBA, a master's in business, to learn mergers and acquisitions, you're probably going to spend $80,000 to $150,000, maybe even more depending on the school. I know because I've done it. Also, hiring a business broker. You could go hire a business broker to help you, but they're going to charge you $30,000, $50,000 in fees, and they don't necessarily have your best interest at heart. They're trying to push a deal. They're not really thinking about you like we are. Okay. Attorney fees for deal structuring. You could spend $5,000, $15,000 on attorney fees during this process. Or one bad deal due to poor due diligence could cost you quite a bit. It could cost you as little as $10,000, as much as hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the total risk without a system is literally $50,000 to $300,000, maybe even more if you try to do this on your own. But see, we give you everything in one place for a fraction of what you'd spend making mistakes on your own. So the total value breakdown here, as you can see, is quite a bit. Okay, there's literally over $1 million in total real world value, but I would never charge you this much. So here's the thing. I'm not going to throw a price up on screen and ask you to buy right now. That's not how this works. Every person on this call is in a different situation, different capital, different experience, different goals. So we're taking a more personalized approach. Your next step isn't a checkout page. It's a conversation, a strategy session where I personally map out a plan for your situation. Okay. I'm going to help you have a personalized plan to help you get to your first online business purchase. And I found that the people who get the best results are the ones who start with a clear plan customized to their situation. That's why the next step isn't a checkout page, it's a conversation. So here's everything that's included in the ARM5 formula acquisition method. But your next step here is simply to book a free online business buying strategy session to get a personalized plan for you. And this is a $1,000 value at least, and it's completely free. So all you have to do to take advantage of this is just click the link in the chat. We're posting it right now. There's limited spots available. We only take on so many appointments every week. So definitely take advantage of this. Click the link, get on our calendar right away. Don't miss that time. And this way you can get a personalized plan to help you be able to accomplish your goal of becoming an online business owner. And also, your investment is protected. We have a guarantee in every single agreement we sign with every single client when you join our program. Now, if you follow the system and you work with us and you use our tools and our frameworks, we guarantee that within 4 months or less that you're going to be successful. You're going to buy a business as long as you meet us halfway. We know our process works. You just have to meet us halfway, okay? And we'll work with you until you close. We continue to work with you until you close. We're all about creating impact. We want to create impact like we did with Jason that you heard from during the webinar today, or others like Dirk, for example, that bought a $1.2 million a year business doing $350,000 a year in profit. We want to create impact on you and everybody else in our program. So there's zero risk. You either get results or we keep working with you until you do. So you literally have nothing to lose and a cash flowing business to gain. That's what you have to lose, is a cash flowing business to gain by not taking action. But wait, there's more. So I promise this for anybody attending. There's an exclusive bonus available, but this is only available when you book your session during this live training. So bonus number 1, a business acquisition readiness scorecard. This is a self-assessment tool that scores your readiness across 5 key areas: capital, credit, time, knowledge, and mindset, and gives you a clear action plan to close any gaps before you start looking at deals. Okay, that's bonus number 1. Bonus number 2 is a first call script pack. This is exactly what to say when contacting sellers and brokers. And most beginners blow the deal in the first 5 minutes because they sound like a tire kicker. These scripts help you sound like a sophisticated buyer immediately. It helps you come from a position of power. Okay. And then number 3, you also get the Tax Navigator by my friend, New York Times bestselling author, Garrett Gunderson. This is a complete guide to legal tax strategies for business owners, covering entity structuring, deductions, and keeping more of what you earn. A lot of Garrett's books and a lot of what he does is helping people that are making money save what they've worked so hard to earn. And this will help you do that. Okay. And a reminder here too. Look, this is a massive opportunity, but it's a timely opportunity. We have 6 million small businesses changing hands as boomers retire. 48% of boomer owners plan to exit within 3 years. And there's 5 trillion plus in private assets right now entering the market. Okay. So I built this system because I was tired of watching good people lose money on bad deals. Every tool, every template, every framework in ARM5 exists because I needed it myself first. And if all these people are getting results, isn't it possible that you can too? Of course it is. And the big one, if you're one of the first people who book during this training, you'll get a personal deal review. This is our golden goose bonus that you'll get for the next 5 people who book their session. After you sign up for the program, I'll personally hop on a call with you to review your first target deal 1-to-1. This way you get my personal eyes on the purchase from myself. And again, I've done over 30 million in online sales since 2022, and I've had over 19 acquisitions since 2022 as well. So I'll personally review your first deal So once you're in the program, I'll hop on a call with you, go through your first target purchase line by line. And I usually charge thousands for this, but you get it included just for being decisive, for being an action taker towards your goals today. So go ahead, click the link in the chat right now, book your free online business buying strategy session right away. And I'll stay on for a little bit longer to answer any questions you guys have. So any questions you have, just throw them in the comments. We'll go through them one by one. Okay, this is the first question. So Chris, thank you. Keep the questions coming. All right, so this question from Chris says, how are you determining the value for these services with the amount? I think you're talking about the acquisition method. So it really just comes down to the impact, the ROI, because anything that any business is selling is priced accordingly. It's based on the impact that it can have, because as long as you're returning a 10x plus impact, then you could price it whatever that is in math. So if we're making an impact on you that can add 100,000 to your life, then it's fair that we charge 10,000, because you're going to get a 10x plus return on that, right? So that's how we're pricing our services, just like any other good business should. Okay. Key is obviously delivering impact. It doesn't mean anything if we're not delivering impact. But because we do and we can, that's why we charge what we charge. So, Chris, thank you so much for the question. I appreciate it. Feel free to keep those questions coming as well. Okay, great question. So Nick has a question here. How do I know that the business I will buy is a good deal? That's a great question. I mean, you have to check a lot of boxes. I mean, you have to do a full evaluation, and that's where we come in, because we help our clients in our community review every single deal that they're looking at to make sure that they're buying a good business that has good characteristics, that's a healthy business, a competitive business, a business in a good industry with good upside, has a good future. And then also on top of that, we make sure that the owner and the deal that the owner is about to commit to is a deal that protects the cash flow of the business. We have a minimum 1.8 debt service ratio, for example, that we teach and we preach, and we even have an AI app that we give people access to that will go over cash flow projections against the offer to make sure that the offer is a good offer for you to commit to. So this way you're agreeing to a good deal that protects the cash flow of the business and meets that 1.8 debt service ratio. So that's how we make sure that you buy a business that's a good deal that sets you up to be successful, in a nutshell. So thank you, Nick, for the question. I appreciate it. Chris, thank you for booking. I will definitely look into that. We'll find out what's going on there. And then, so John, great question. So John has a question here. So any reason to choose online business? Okay, I love this question. Okay, so look, if you want to buy a boring brick and mortar business, go for it. But just keep in mind this, okay? Keep in mind you typically have more liability, you have more overhead, you have more commitments, whether it's staff, whether it's rent, whether it's real estate mortgage. Plus, on top of that, you can only take on so many customers at any given time because you have a limitation within the store, right? So there's that. So if you like to be in a business with more responsibility, more risk, less opportunity to scale and make more money, then go buy another business. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to be salty here or sarcastic. I'm just trying to make a point. The point is that online business, you have little overhead. And with AI agent systems too, overhead is decreasing by the minute. You also have limitless opportunity to make more and more money from an online business you own because you don't have the capacity ceiling that you would with a brick and mortar business. Okay. You can turn on more traffic. You can start up more ads. You could add more organic channels. You could sell to more countries. So you can make more money overnight with an online business. So the cash flow potential, the ROI potential is far greater than any other business out there. So that's why you want to buy an online business. And that's why anybody looking to buy a business should be looking at online businesses instead of boring businesses that feel more comfortable. But really, I mean, again, limitations and more risk. So thank you for the question, John. Appreciate it, man. Keep the questions coming too. Question from Chris here. How do we find businesses for sale? Great question. There's lots of different places to do it, and lots of different ways to do it. For one, you can go to websites that already have listings, already have businesses listed for sale. There's plenty of brokerage websites like Flippa, Empire Flippers, Website Closers, Biz Buy Sell, Quiet Light, and there's even more private, brokers that have websites and have listings. There's plenty of them out there. That's the top easiest way to be able to find businesses for sale. But you could also contact business owners and just start conversations with them, and a lot of times business owners they want to start conversations with you because everybody, for the most part, in business, they want to sell their business, they want to create wealth. And so if you approach them as a seasoned buyer and investor in businesses, and you introduce yourself, and you also want to spend time with them to price what their business is worth, a lot of times they're going to open the door, spend 20 minutes on a call with you just to find out more. And that's an easy way to get off-market deal flow. And you could systematize that. We actually have a few different SOPs that allow you to do that in a very streamlined, automated way. So this way, you don't have to do that manually, like reaching out to different people one by one. You could have a system do it for you. So, and we're even creating an AI system similar to that right now for our community too, to help them create off-market deal flow. So there's plenty of opportunities out there. Those websites alone will give you plenty of opportunities, but then you could also go to off-market deals as well and try to start conversations with other business owners too. So thank you, Chris, for the question. Appreciate it. Good question here. So Nick asked, what happens after 4 months? Is it the end of the program? No. As I mentioned before, you have lifetime access. So you continue to be a part of the community. You continue to lean on us for help with buying a business or your business. So you have lots of opportunity to get a ton of value since you have lifetime access. So thank you, Nick, for the question. Appreciate it. Let's see. So Eunice, thank you so much for the question. I appreciate it. So what are your fees and the length of the mentoring program? So the length, as I mentioned, you have lifetime access. So we have two different paths you can take with us. We have a done with you and a done for you. Done with you, you're doing a lot of the work with us, but you're meeting us halfway, doing a lot of that work with our guidance, our coaching, our training, our processes that we give you access to. That's $10,000. We do have payment plans, and we even have a finance department that can 100% cover that. You only need a 620 plus credit score. And the nice thing about that is, as long as you put the work in, you show up, you're guaranteed to own a business within 4 months. And then the business can pay off that debt very quickly because it's usually doing 10, 20,000 or more per month in free cash flow. Okay. So that's a popular way people join our program. That's the done with you, done for you. That's 25,000. We do have financing available for that too. And that's where we do all the heavy lifting. We do all the work, and we guarantee success within 4 months or less in our agreement with you. So those are the two different programs that we offer to help people be able to buy online businesses. Thank you, Eunice, for the question. I appreciate it. I see your second question. I'm going to come back to you and answer that question here in a minute, but I'm going to highlight Eric next. Okay, sure. So can you give a few examples of recent businesses you or your students have bought? Yeah, absolutely. So one business, for example, that we own is Clova with a K. I'll even put it in the chat this way you guys can check it out. .com. So it's one business we bought. We've got a portfolio of businesses. And then a recent business that one of our clients purchased would be like illuminating.com. I'll even put that in the chat too, so you can check that out. So those are some examples of businesses. And Illuminating, which I've highlighted a few, during this presentation, for example, was a business that was purchased with no money out of pocket. And it's a business that is doing 1.2 million a year in sales and 350,000 a year in profit, and he was able to buy it using our creative strategies. We coached him every single step of the way to make sure that, for one, he was getting a good deal, and two, he was structuring the deal so this way he could buy the business with no money out of his own pocket. So that's one other example for you. Thank you, Eric, for the question. Appreciate it. Keep the questions coming, and I'll answer the next one here. So I've got a question from Nick. What if I want to buy more than one business? Will your team assist with that too? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you work with us, if you're in our community, again, you get lifetime access. So you can continue to lean on us, and you could just follow our footsteps, and you could build a portfolio of your own. So there's no limitation here when it comes to working with us, buying businesses. You can continue to buy more and more businesses. Um, I'm going to advise you on how to do that effectively, tactfully, how to keep risk as minimal as possible, because you definitely want to do that very carefully if you want to build a portfolio. And we've had a lot of lessons, a lot of experience doing that since 2022, since we bought businesses. So we can definitely give you a lot of guidance on that if that is your goal to build a little portfolio for yourself. So you can continue to do that, and we'll continue to work with you. It's totally fine. So thank you, Nick, for the question. I appreciate it. And then I'm going to go back to Eric, and then I'll answer the next question I see here from Clara. Okay. Oh, wait, I already answered that question. I think I skipped. Oh, here we go. Eunice. This is what I meant to highlight. Okay. Can you please give us some examples of the growing online businesses? I think what you're referring to is just businesses that we've worked with. Is that right? Let me know for sure, Eunice, in the comments. I appreciate it. Just this way I'm clear on what your question is. But as I mentioned before, I mean, since 2013, we've been behind the scenes helping clients grow their businesses. And then in 2022, we stopped helping clients. We started buying our own. We started operating and started growing our own businesses. And, we own Clova, for example. We own Asir Custom, for example. So we've had our hands with different businesses since 2022 that we've been growing ever since we started buying businesses. So let me know, that answers your question, great. But if you have a question similar to that, just give me a little bit more context. I'm happy to answer any question you have. Okay, and then Clara, let me answer your question here. You said, my hearing missed the second option fee. Did I hear 25,000? Yes, that's correct. So no problem, Clara. Thank you for the question. So that's for our done for you. That's where we take the work off your plate. We go through the process ourselves for you. We help you buy a really good business that meets your goals, that meets your buy box. We do all of our due diligence that we typically do for our own businesses. We make sure that it meets our minimum requirements, 1.8 debt service ratio, for example, which protects the cash flow in the business. So we basically do all the work, from A to Z in helping our done for you clients buy a business within 4 months or less. So that's the done for you program. Requires maybe an hour, 2 hours max of your time every week. So it's 100% on us to buy you a business in that program. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And Chris, he's asking, illuminating.com and clova.com, are these businesses you own? Clova, yes. Illuminating is one of our clients' businesses. So that should answer your question there. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. I'm gonna get some water, guys. I can feel the desert is getting to me because I'm here in Phoenix, and I've been talking for a good 75 or so minutes. So give me 1 second. All right. I'll stay on for another minute, guys, and I got to jump into another commitment. Any other questions, guys? Let me know in the chat. Okay. All right. Yeah, Chris, looking forward to it. Thank you for booking. Appreciate it. We look forward to serving you. Eunice, thank you for the thank you. I appreciate it. It's my pleasure to serve you. Clara, thank you so much. Great to see you in here. Looking forward to serving you as well. All right, I don't see any other questions. So, all right, guys, well, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for being here. If you're joining me live, if you're catching this replay, you made a smart decision to invest in yourself and dedicate time to your future. This could be life-changing for you. So you made a very smart decision spending time on this replay. Take action. That's the most important thing. If you have a goal for yourself, you got to take action. You got to take action towards your goal. It's the only way anything happens. Okay. So take action today, guys. And thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next webinar.